Okay, there was a situation at the end of the Broncos Chargers game that some people were confused by, so I'm going to pause it right here and just explain what happened, because everything was actually called correctly here, but I get why it's kind of confusing, so let's get into it. The Chargers are currently up 7 points and are doing their best to kill the clock. There's still 4 seconds left. They couldn't quite kill all of it, but they're now going to run a play on, a down, trying to just kill the 4 seconds on a fourth down. As you see, Herbert is going to take the snap, and he just chucks one up into the sideline, which a lot of people were saying, wait a second, that should be intentional grounding, right? I mean, clearly he was still in the pocket. There was no eligible receiver around him. Well, there's actually 2 things to note here. First, there's a part of the rule that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to grounding, but it's an important part of the rule, which, as you see on the screen, it's you have to be facing a threat of losing yardage. You have to be facing pressure from the defense. If you're not, which Herbert wasn't because he threw it immediately, that actually means that it does not count for intentional grounding. So, correct call to not throw the flag. The other thing that's worth mentioning is even if the flag was thrown, it wouldn't have actually mattered. If you remember this situation a few years back, this was a John Harbaugh game. You see the offensive line. I can't play the whole clip for copyright reasons, but you see how the offensive line is just holding everybody. The reason they're doing it is because it's going to be a penalty, but they wanted to kill the last 11 seconds, so they just held everybody. Then the punter ran out of the back of the end zone once the clock expired, and that's how they were able to run out the clock there. So, because the game can't end on a defensive penalty, it can end on an offensive penalty. And yes, that includes grounding. So even if grounding was called, it wouldn't have been the Broncos get a shot at the 20-yard line for one last chance. It would have just been that the game is over regardless, which I feel like they should change. I think if it, I in theory understand why that's the case. But I would say saying that the game also can't end if it's a change of possession and there's a penalty on the play. That feels reasonable to me. I don't know. It seems like a loophole they could fix. But yeah, that's the explanation. So for those of you who were confused, hopefully now it makes sense.